So the title of my paper is Ethical Implications of Artificial Intelligence and its Utility in Dispute Resolution through Arbitration. So I am currently an assistant professor of law at Symbiosis Law School, Nagpur, and I have co-authored this with my colleague, Dr. Karun Sanjay, who's an assistant professor at Symbiosis Law School, and I'm currently pursuing my PhD from Gujarat National Law University. So now I'll begin with the topic. First of all, the scheme of presentation is, firstly, I would introduce the aspects of artificial intelligence and its role or its utility in arbitration. Then I'll go on to explain as to how AI works on big data and what is the significance of big data. Then I'll move on to black box algorithms and their explanations. Then I'll move on to the problems associated with AI, such as algorithmic bias, etc. And then finally, I'll come to how actually AI can be used in arbitrations to reduce cost, to reduce time, to reduce efforts, and also enhance legal research. And finally, linking it with the laws of robotics and talking about the ethical aspects. So I'll begin first of all with the research questions. So the research questions are threefold. Firstly, what is the legal status of AI entities or AI systems in India? Secondly, is it possible to appoint a software as an arbitrator? And thirdly, what are the advantages of using AI as an arbitrator? First of all, I'd like to explain how big data works. So big data is, say, structured as well as unstructured data that is fed into the algorithm. Once this data is fed into the algorithm runs patterns and simulations upon this data. Based on its simulations and patterns, it draws outcomes. Now, the basis of drawing outcome is that the algorithm assumes how would a human have worked provided the same amount of data, provided the same set of data. That is, how would a human have acted in a situation? So basically, the algorithm has been trained to mimic humans. And this mimic, or you can say, when I say algorithm is mimicking human actions, what it's actually doing is analyzing, say, in the past 10 years, in the past 5 years, how have humans interacted with these elements, with these variables available, or how have humans reached to certain results. So I'll give you an example. So once an anomaly happened in US. So when Amazon was testing an algorithm to deliver products in different communities by removing the middleman, that is a delivery boy, they ran this autonomous software. So there was no delivery boy as such. It would be the humanoids, it will be the AI who would do everything. So the anomaly that was noticed was that the AI delivered products in all the white communities, but avoided all the black communities. And the reason for this algorithmic bias or this racism that AI committed was that it analyzed that in the past, usually the number of white delivery boys was way more than the black delivery boys. And the white delivery boys, they did not go to the black communities because they did not feel safe. And that is something that the AI or the algorithm identified as an anomaly. It identified this as something being wrong with black people, and therefore it did not deliver any products in the black communities. Now, this is the algorithmic bias that develops based on the data. So it is the data which has a lot of biases because of human behaviors in the past. And the algorithm has been trained to perform actions of, or you can say the parameter is, how would a human have acted provided the same variables or circumstances? So first of all, big data is fed into the algorithm, which is either structured or unstructured. Based on the data, algorithm trains itself, makes its own patterns. The basis of these patterns is how would a human have acted in a situation, and finally reaches the outcome. Now, there is a curious situation that there are algorithms which are called black box algorithms. These are the AI algorithms that have a feature that is artificial neural nets or artificial neural networks. This feature or this technology allows the algorithm to code itself. So the programmer has enabled the algorithm to make its own codes or do its own coding. So in other words, say a programmer or a group of programmers would be able to code an algorithm running into 1,000 lines, which would take a lot of time. But an algorithm would do the same thing if it is made capable of drafting its own code. It could do the same thing and draft its own code, which could run into millions of lines, which programmers would not be able to understand per se. And that is the area which is black box, or which is the part where programmer does not have any, you can say, it is very difficult for any programmer or sets of programmers or even corporations that are having multiple teams of programmers to identify where the anomaly occurred or where did the algorithm go wrong. To cure this issue, there are other kinds of AI available, which are called explainable AI, which we have also mentioned in our paper. Now, coming directly to the ethical aspect. So how do we determine the ethics of AI? So there are laws of robotics. The history of laws of robotics is, say, in 1940s, Isaac Asimov wrote a novel, I, Robot, which was a fictional work. And in that, he gave three laws of robotics, which are treated as the grand norm or the basic laws of robotics. Working upon these laws of robotics, the EPSRC and AHRC, these are organizations in UK, Engineering and Physics Sciences Research Council and Arts and Humanities Research Council, they developed 5 ethical principles upon which all robots and all humanoids and all automated AI entities work. Coming to the second, which is the most important rule for our discussion here, or the second principle of robotics, it is humans, not robots, are responsible agents. Robots are designed to achieve human goals. So this principle makes it absolutely clear that in case of liability issues arising out of the actions of artificial entity, there is some human who has to be blamed. Now coming to the role of artificial intelligence and the reason why we were discussing all of these things. The role of artificial intelligence in arbitration, first of all, in drafting the arbitration awards. Drafting arbitration awards is a complex process. It requires a lot of legal acumen. It requires a lot of legal terminologies, Latin maxims, a lot of case laws to be cited, and this is a time-taking process. It can take weeks, it can take months, it can even take a year. But for an AI algorithm that has all the data fed into it, all the past awards that have been passed in the country fed into it, it would be a matter of seconds or even a matter of milliseconds for drafting an award, and thereby saving a lot of time, a lot of cost, etc. Secondly, AI as an arbitrator. So the reason why we were discussing laws of robotics and the ethical aspects were that if law were actually to allocate legal personality to artificial intelligence or artificial intellects, it would be at that moment that AI could also qualify as an arbitrator in an award. And this is exactly what we are promoting in our paper, that artificial intelligence software should be appointed as arbitrators in arbitration panels. Why? Because a fused panel, a mixed panel of part human, part AI would be more efficient in determining or in meeting the ends of justice. Thirdly, amendments are needed in the existing rules, which I will discuss in the next slide. And the gist of all of that, all of the things that I have discussed with respect to role of AI in arbitration is cost cutting. Cost cutting, especially in international arbitrations. Now coming to the already existing mechanism that is there in Supreme Court. So Supreme Court uses an AI called SUPACE. SUPACE, the full form is Supreme Court Portal for Assistance in Courts Efficiency. Now this is a portal that intends to use machine learning to deal with the amount of data received on a day-to-day basis in various cases. It's a hybrid system and it's a perfect combination of human intelligence and machine learning that works wonders when combined with artificial intelligence. There is also a system of NLP, natural language processing, in this system. So it can find cases even if the input is in verbal mode, in vernacular language, it can translate it in real time and find case laws. So this is a very good AI assistant that Supreme Court is already using, and this makes one thing clear, that Indian judiciary or Indian judicial system is already technologically equipped enough to seamlessly introduce artificial intelligence systems into its day-to-day courtroom working. So if it can be introduced in the Supreme Court, why can't we introduce it in arbitration panels? Next, the possibility is actually real. So all of the things that I have discussed just promotes or just highlights or advocates the possibility of AI to be used in arbitrations. Now, what are the changes required in the existing laws? So first of all, or the first change that is required is, as of now, parties are free to determine the number of arbitrators, provided that it's an odd number. That's what the law says. We suggest that the term arbitrators used under Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 should be expanded to an extent that it should include artificial intelligence softwares as well. This would create a situation which would result into fused or mixed arbitral tribunals. What's a fused tribunal? What's a mixed tribunal? It's a mixture or a fusion of human as well as AI or AI arbitrators. What's the benefit of this tribunal? Well, the benefits of SUPACE, that is legal research. So if law does not permit, or if law does not make a framework for giving legal personality to artificial intelligence, what we can do in the meantime is make or allow changes in the laws to facilitate boards having humans to be assisted by AI in real time while deciding arbitration disputes. So that is what fused boards are. And finally, coming to a conclusion to our model, that is the main benefit that we would receive out of such fusion is that the parties, especially in international arbitrations, where witnesses having multiple languages, etc., are required, all of these things could be performed seamlessly by using machine learning, natural language processing. This would result into a lot of cost cutting, as well as cutting the time involved in this entire process. And finally, AI will of course be capable of translating thousands of documents in a matter of seconds with high accuracy, including scanned, handwritten, or even annotated documents. So our conclusion is that this amendment in the current law is much needed, considering the trend of artificial intelligence and the rapid development of technological revolution with artificial intelligence in the country right now. With that, I'd like to conclude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Is there any question from researchers and academician point?
Yes, ma'am. Rushil, if you don't mind, first of all, good morning. I've got a couple of questions. So thank you so much. It was an eye-opener. It was a fantastic presentation. Few things.
Thank you, sir.
So I don't want you to answer these questions as a law professor. So I want you to answer these questions more of on a personal front as an individual who is not dealing with law. Okay. So, then the answer will be a correct one, and I feel more justifying to me. So first is, what do you feel as an individual, how important it is to depend on artificial intelligence in terms of delivery, in terms of justice, as far as verdicts are concerned? What you feel as a personal feeling? I want.
It's an excellent question, and the answer to this question would take a slight legal tone. Please pardon me for that.
Yes.
The slight legal tone that it would take is, say, I had read a lot of research papers on technological unemployment, and the main factor of technological unemployment, or the basis of discussion, was that AI would be able to replace in the near future almost all the jobs that require predictive analysis, but will not be able to replace the jobs that require human judgment. So I think your question could be answered in the sense that anything that requires human judgment would be very difficult for a machine as far as replacing humans are concerned. So human judgment in a courtroom would be, say, if a matter is related to criminal law, and in criminal law specifically related to a crime against a woman. Now, if a crime is related to a woman, a judge would have to not only consider the empathy and sympathy that the society has right now, but will also have to consider the moral fabric of the society as to how liberal the society is, or what are the views of the society in a remote village, and what are the views of a society in an urban place. So this would require judgment application. AI would, however, be able to draw patterns, predictive analysis as to what would be the best outcome for a situation. That's fine. But here, the question requires a judge to actually analyze the conscience of the society, the moral fabric, how a woman feels. Does a woman feel safe in the night after leaving 11 p.m. in the night from her office on a lonely road? So that is something that a judge would be able to analyze, but an AI won't be able to. That's how I feel, sir.
Rushil, well, thank you so much. It was an answer which actually I wanted from you. Now, just going forward a little bit on this. So,
Yes,
don't you feel that is going to influence the decision of a judge? Because what he will feel, now he's watched, he's monitored, okay, because of this artificial intelligence, or because of he's got that technology with him. So don't you feel his decision will be influenced, because he will be a bit on a back foot, or bit in a subconscious mind? He'll feel that why can't I take a help of a technology to decide my judgment, rather than being impulsive, being more of on a physical evidence which is being presented by people like you there in the court.
Yes, sir. Sir, I totally agree with you. It will definitely be an influence upon the mind of the judge. A judge is by law expected to exercise his judicial mind without any influencing factors. But if we include artificial intelligence as an assistant to a judge, it would definitely have influence upon his judicial mind. That's what I also believe, sir.
Thank you so much, Rushil. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank you,
this impactful presentation.